Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about the Sony PlayStation today and how they are in talks to buy the owner of the Elden Ring and Dark Souls developer FromSoftware. Yikes. So let's cue up the music and we'll get right to it. All right, so the Kadokawa buyout, that's the name of the company that owns From Software, would also include Mario and Luigi Brothership Studio, which is interesting. Anyway, so this just came up, and I guess this is just rumored right now or something that people are talking about. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I want to take a look at what Sony owns right now. And they've got quite a few studios, as you can see, right? You know, stuff like Bend and Blue Point, Fire Sprite. Guerrilla Games is a larger one. They do the Horizon series. Insomniac, which does the Spider-Man games and Ratchet and Clank. Naughty Dog, of course, which does Last of Us and Uncharted. I'd like to see another Uncharted game, maybe a reboot or something like that. Santa Monica, who gives us the God of War series. Sucker Punch, who does Sly Cooper, Infamous, and Ghost of Tsushima. And, you know, so on and so forth. Oh yeah, Valkyrie Entertainment, Infamous, God of War, and Twisted Metal, you know, all kinds of stuff there. Then XDev, Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, Rise of Ronin. So a lot of neat stuff there. There's some former ones there. But there are a lot of studios underneath their banner there. There's quite a bit, which is crazy, right? I'm not a big fan of getting too many of these studios under one banner, especially under these console developers, Sony and Microsoft, for instance. Now, I know Xbox is moving away from the console market, or at least it feels that way right now. I could be wrong, but just from the things Phil Spencer's been doing and the decisions that Xbox has been making lately, it feels like they're going to turn into a third-party studio at some point in time. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But the reason I don't like consolidation for a couple of reasons. One is, if something goes wrong with the studio and it's something huge, it can impact a lot of things, a lot of different games, right? We can, I mean, just think about it. If Sony gets impacted really bad, all of this can go away, right? All of this. Now, it would take a lot to damage Sony that bad, but still, there's so much underneath that umbrella that it could all be gone, you know? We could lose, you know, Gran Turismo in addition to all that other stuff. Little Big Planet, Siphon Filter, Shadow of the Colossus, all of this stuff gone. And that would suck. That would suck. And I also don't like it because it lends itself to exclusivity with consoles. And I mean, that's healthy for the console manufacturer, right? It's healthy for Sony to have God of War and Horizon to help sell their consoles. I mean, granted, they do release it on PC later on, you know, a year or two down the road, whatever. But it's good for them, you know, because games help sell consoles. I get that. But it's not healthy for gamers themselves, as if you want to experience, you know, the best of the best out there, you're going to need multiple consoles. You know, if you want to play these games and you have an Xbox, well, you're not going to play them. You're going to either need to get yourself a PlayStation, or you're going to need to get yourself a PC so you can play the port. Either way, you're spending more money, right? And that same goes true for, you know, playing these Bethesda or the Microsoft games. And we'll take a look at what they own right now. Let's see. Xbox Studios has quite a few. We know the recent acquisition, the huge one, was the Activision one. But yeah, Coalition, Compulsion. Looks like they got a lot less than Sony. I didn't realize Sony had so many more than them. Everybody bitches about these guys having so many, but you know, the Initiative with the Perfect Dark, Halo Studios, of course, Halo, Obsidian, which I love Obsidian. They do some great games there. Outer Worlds was fantastic. You know, Grounded's great, but we got Grounded now. You know, we got the Outer Worlds on PlayStation. They did Fallout New Vegas, which is fantastic. They got Bethesda as well. Why isn't Bethesda on here? And why? This is not really right. I don't even see Blizzard and Activision on here. Am I missing something? Oh, I guess it goes. I guess they put it under Xbox Game Studios. Maybe. But in any case, they've got quite a few, right? But again, these guys, you lose it all if something happens to Microsoft. Not that anything's going to happen to Microsoft, but yeah, there's a lot here that they've got, man. Holy cow. So, any case, let's get back to the story itself that we're talking about here. Boom. So, PlayStation maker Sony is currently in talks that would likely see it acquiring a controlling stake in FromSoftware, the developer behind Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne, as part of a buyout of its owner, the Japanese publishing giant Kadokawa. That's according to a Reuters report, which claims a deal could be signed in weeks via sources with knowledge of discussions between the two companies. Both Sony and Kadokawa declined to comment on that report. Launched in 2022, Elden Ring has now sold more than 25 million copies worldwide. And we all know they just had that big DLC come out, Shadow of the Erdtree. So big that it made it available for that very questionable Game of the Year award. Yeah, I don't like that. But anyway, Sony already owns a 14% stake in FromSoftware and already has ownership of both the Bloodborne and Demon Souls franchises. FromSoftware, meanwhile, owns the rights to Elden Ring and Sekiro. This deal would likely result in PlayStation gaining the 69.6% stake in FromSoftware that Kadokawa holds, meaning it would hold a commanding 84% of the company. Chinese giant Tencent currently owns the remaining 16%. Tencent owns quite a lot of things out there. What are we talking about them recently buying into? I can't remember, but yeah, these guys are all over the place. But Kadokawa is huge, man. They own a variety of various other studios too. The include Octopath Traveler and Tenchu developer Acquire, which recently developed Mario and Luigi Brothership for the Nintendo Switch. Now, wouldn't that be weird? Shiren the Wanderer Studios, Spike Chunsoft, and RPG maker developer Gacha Gacha Games. Outside of video games, Kadokawa is also a huge name in anime and manga, and would be a significant addition to Sony's existing portfolio that includes Crunchyroll and Funimation. Yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about this would make them a massive force in the anime world, which, you know, would be very profitable for Sony. I mean, that'd be great for them overall, great for the company. But again, would it be great for the gamer? I don't know. Would the next Elden Ring or FromSoftware game be an exclusive on the PlayStation and then show up on PC later on? I mean, that game was huge. Would they say 25 million copies? It wouldn't sell that many if it was an exclusive. Even if they released it a year later on PC, it still wouldn't reach those numbers. I mean, I don't know. You know, it feels like when you port over to the PC, it's one thing like, okay, a game initially releases, and it's on all platforms. The excitement's there. Everybody buys it up. Boom, 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 boom. It feels like when a port comes to another location, like another console or PC or something like that, that release, especially if it's down the road a year or so, is never as big as it was on the initial release. It always feels like there's some kind of like, you know, it's still big. People have been like, oh, I've been wanting to play that game and all that, but it never has the impact that it does when it's brand new, because people have moved on. There's other newer games that have been out there. The initial hype has died down around the game, you know, and people have moved on past it. So, you know, that's how I feel, at least. That's what it seems like. Anyway, outside of video games, yeah, anime, manga. PlayStation's other recent purchases include UK studio Firesprite, plus Housemarque, and Nix's all in 2021. And most recently, Sony bought the Jade Redmond-founded startup Haven Studios in 2022, currently working on Fair Games. So, yeah, what do you guys think of this, man? Do you think it's a good thing for them to buy this company, Kadokawa? I mean, like I said, you know, it's good for Sony. I recognize that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not dumb. You know, this is a great business move for them. You can't fault them for going for it. You can't fault them for doing it. But I don't think it's good for gaming overall. I don't like consolidation on a large scale. I don't like these guys having too many studios and too much power. It creates, you know, we're not going towards a monopoly of any sort here, because you do have Microsoft to keep them honest, but as Microsoft seems to be edging their way out of consoles, you know, this this could seriously shift the balance of power in Sony's favor to a point where, I don't know, if you have too much power and you don't have enough competition, and even though Nintendo is huge and, you know, the Switch is massive and all that, and the Switch 2 is on its way, I feel like Nintendo is a different class of console than Xbox and PlayStation. Those two always seem to be the competitors, right? They seem to be the ones going neck to neck, where Nintendo always just existed and did its own thing. You know, they didn't care. They just, you know, they released when they wanted to release. They have their own thing. They never lower their price on games. They just, we're Nintendo, you know, buy our stuff and people buy it and they love it. You know, that's what it is. You love Nintendo, you're in there for the long haul. But yeah. Let me know your thoughts down below on all this. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for notifications. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.